Your Majesty, Minister, Excellencies, colleagues, family, friends and guests, I am very honored that this Abel Prize associates me with the luminaries which received it before me, amongst whom are my teachers and mentors, Jacques Tits and Jean-Pierre Serre. The past century has been a golden century for mathematics. When I look back, I am amazed at the number of questions that in my youth seemed inaccessible, but which have now been solved. The last half-century has also been a golden time for mathematicians, but I worry that the prospects for young people are now far from being as good. Throughout my life, I have received crucial help from many people and institutions, and this for me is an occasion to give thanks. My first debt of gratitude is to Mr. Wefnes. Mr. Ness was a high school teacher, and I first met him at age 12 as the father of a friend. He noted my interest in mathematics, protected it, nourished it by giving me my first serious mathematical books, a risky but felicitous force Bourbaki theory, and he arranged also the possibility for me to borrow books from the Bibliothèque Royale de Belgique. Later, he introduced me to Jacques Tits. And it was very fortunate for me that up to 1964, Tits was professor at the Free University of Brussels. I learned much from him, and when I was 20, he decided it was time, and he told me to go to Paris, where I benefited from Serre's deep and luminous lecture at Collège de France, and from Grothendieck's seminar at IHVS. In due time, Serre also offered me crucial suggestion. One was to look at the work of Eichler and Shimura relating automorphic form and cohomology, and the other was to pay attention to some estimates proved by Rankin. But my main debt of gratitude is to Alexander Grothendieck. He did not mind my ignorance. He taught me my trade as well as L-adic cohomology by having me writing up from his rough notes to 17 and 18 of SGA4. He convinced his colleague to give me a position at IHVS, and he exposed me to his philosophy, especially to his ideas of motive, which for me have been a guiding light. I would also like to give thanks to the two extraordinary institutions where I have spent my career. The IHVS, Institut des Hautes Études Scientifiques near Paris, and the Institute for Advanced Study, IAS, in Princeton. Established in 1930, the IAS was made possible by the generosity of Louis Bamberger and his sister Caroline Fuld, and it was guided by the ideals of his first director, Abraham Flexner. As an aside, allow me to mention that in a letter to the trustees in 1930, the founder insisted, quote, "It is fundamental in our purpose and our express desire that in the appointments to the staff and faculty, as well as in the admission of workers and students, no account shall be taken, directly or indirectly, of race, religion, or sex." End of quote. This was far from common in the US of the 1930s, and I much prefer such a statement of principle to the creeping quotas that clumsily attempt to enforce a similar ideal now. The founding principle of the IAS is expounded in Flexner's article of 1939, The Usefulness of Useless Knowledge. And this article remains as relevant now as it was then. It explained that the current tendency of funding advances to direct research is misguided, and that it is even worse to try to direct it toward directly applicable goals. Flexner explained, by example, that at the source of the most important application of science and discoveries gathered not by application, but by curiosity. When applying for a visit to the IAS, visitors usually have to explain what they intend to do. But one of the first things they are told upon arrival is that no matter what they have said they would do, they are free to ignore it and follow their curiosity. And that is how it should be. This freedom is a powerful incentive to do the best we can. I can attest from example in my own work that this sometimes leads to dead end also, but this is a small price to pay. The IFES was founded in 1958 by Léon Mottevin in deliberate imitation of the IAS. But we sought the security of an endowment, and at a time where private support for mathematics and physics was unheard of in France. This made the accomplishment of Mottevin in creating the IHVS, wisely selecting the first permanent member, convincing them to come, and then keeping the IHVS alive, a truly extraordinary accomplishment. So I am grateful to both the IHVS and the IAS for their defense and illustration of curiosity-driven research and for enabling me to do my best. And I am glad that the Hubble Committee is guided by the same principles. Also, I hope that this Hubble Prize will enable me to help young mathematicians.